Many teachers ask questions about how to view or retrieve results that have been sent in, and just some different options you have when looking at student results. So what we're going to do is use our Express Poll button right here and turn our wheel on, and I'm going to get a couple of answers submitted. My question, those of you who had training with me know it's an old standby, what is a noun? So students are going to text in the answer for what they think is a noun. Let me turn my device on for a minute because it timed out. So let's do Jane an answer here. Notice her name lit up when I sent that in. And we'll do Lee an answer. Okay. Once the last person has sent in their answer, you automatically get results based on the defaults in Active Inspire. So something we can look at here, notice that we've got one student that said dog, one student that said run. Well, that could be an issue because I asked for a noun. You can change the way you're viewing the results right here. So I can have a who answered what graph. So I could see that Jane said dog in 8.6 seconds and Lee took 17.1 seconds to give me the word run. Something else that we have, a who answered what list, so they can just list them out for us of the results. We have the summary of the answers that were sent in. If you wanted to change the bar graph so that it was vertical instead of horizontal, you can get your pie charts that come in. Sorry about that phone call. Alright, so I can also look through and minus the pie chart, I can have simple text report of what was sent in as well. Something that's neat about this though is if you notice this little middle icon right here, this is almost looks like a little answer sheet. It's called WordSeed. I call it an answer sheet to help you guys remember. When I click that, it will paste any of the results that my students sent in as text box pieces. So then maybe we could have these pop up and say, okay, is dog a person, place, or thing? The students say yes. And then I can have another student come up here and write a sentence using the noun. Okay, notice when I hovered that it shows you which student submitted that answer and how long it took them, because maybe I have 3 students that sent in dog as an answer. Well, all 3 students would be listed starting underneath Jane so that we could see that. It's not going to paste the word dog 3 different times because it recognizes it's the same answer. If a student were to send in dog with a capital D and then lowercase OG, yes, it would submit it as a different answer because it was spelled differently. So keep that in mind as well. That's just a really neat way for you to be able to have the students submit content that you use to manipulate in a lesson. Maybe you have a Venn diagram up here and the students are submitting something that happened in one of the stories. You paste it in and then you allow them to come up and sort these into the proper place in the Venn diagram. You could have them send in characteristics about some of the historical figures they're learning about and paste them in. There's all kinds of things you can do with this. But I just wanted people to be aware that that was an option in the results. Now, some people say, okay, well, I accidentally clicked off that bar graph and I'd really like to go back and look at it again. Anytime you give a question here, it holds the answers over here in your results portion. And when I click on this particular one, since it's the only question I've asked, I can actually click on this menu icon here and view the results again. So I can see this pop up, and if I want to, we can go back through and do a who answered what list and see. So again, something else really cool, if you're playing Jeopardy with teams and things, then you can do a who answered what list, and the person who answered it the fastest and then they got it correct can get the team for the point. So we'll get the point for the team. There we go. So you have lots of different things that you can look at with this. Pretty cool. This will paste the actual results portion here. So if for some reason you wanted to keep this graph, you could paste it in, and then maybe you could have the students build some interpreting skills and things around it if they were surveying their class for favorite colors and things like that with math sections. So lots of different options, some pretty cool things that you can see within the votes. And then let's go ahead and close that out. And now has come the time to where maybe we want to export these. Now, we haven't talked about pre-made questions. This is only a question that was done ahead of time. So again, let's look at these results. If I look, both of these are blue. Well, I didn't really have a correct answer assigned. And when you're asking about a noun, it's kind of hard to do that. But if I wanted to, afterwards, go ahead and assign a correct answer, I could type in what the question was, and then I could type in the correct answer and assign it. Since I really don't have a correct answer for what the noun is going to be, there's several different options, I'm at least going to type this question in because I want you to notice right now there's no questions showing up, but when I say done and close this out, Now you'll notice after coming back in and coming back to refreshing it, I have the question that sits up top here, and that can be very helpful because if I give several questions in this flip chart, they're all going to bump on top of each other, and now I have what I actually asked you on that page when I'm trying to decipher what things I might want to keep and export as data. So we'll go ahead and export this. This is how you get all those results to Excel. Hit export. I'm going to save it to the desktop just because I don't need it. You would save it to your jump drive. We'll do noun test here. Save. And now it's generated an automatic preview for me. So you can see name a noun is the only question I've asked in this whole process here. And then it's got Jane and Lee. It tells us again how fast we were in our answers here. So maybe I would go through, since I can't assign a correct answer because there's not just one noun, I could go through and I could highlight my little buddies that got it wrong so I could see what the problem was with that. You also can look at things by question. So we have question 1 because I've only asked one question and the responses. And then the rest of the questions would be underneath. Same thing, we can break it down by student. So Jane and all of her questions and answers. And then this last thing is a question page. That's almost like the template for how to build questions in Excel. Unless you are extremely bored, please do not worry about building questions in Excel and then importing them into ActiveInspire. Just build them ahead of time in ActiveInspire. So that's what your results would look like in your test actions there. So you have lots of different options. You can view the results immediately here in ActiveInspire, which is good because most of the time this is a formative assessment and not something summative. So you can want to talk about it right then and make some changes if you need to. Okay, and if you accidentally get rid of that, you still have the option within the menu to bring those results back. We know that we can now paste those text pieces into our flip chart and use them. And we can always assign a correct answer or add in the question later on if we decided some data we really would like to keep. So lots of good things you can do with the results browser.